up, though? OG Kenny, O_G_Kenny, at Retired from the Streets TV, and welcome to another installment of Retired from the Streets TV, right? So, anybody who a history buff or anybody who know anything about like the Roman or the Egyptian empires, familiar with the story of Antony, right? Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Now, they got a history that went back from when they was childhood, like crushes. He had first met her when she was a mistress of his mentor and leader, Caesar. And once Caesar was assassinated, Mark Antony grew to power. He started his own little trio of power with a couple of other people, right? So they had this long, torrent love affair and thing going on where she wooed him for like 10 years, right? And they had a whole big, I'm talking about, when you look up Cleopatra, right, she was Egyptian. Mark Antony was Roman, right? So that was already a problem, right? Because the Romans and Egyptians didn't get along. To this day, there's a book by George G.M. James called Stolen Legacy about how Roman influences really were stolen, right? Greek influences, Greek mythology was really stolen Egyptian mythology. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the hieroglyphics and whatnot that we know as Egyptian were taken, and a lot of those signs and symbols were reinterpreted as Greek, Horus, Isis, you know what I'm saying? Osiris. So not to go too deep into all that, right? Excuse me. Not to go too deep into all that, but we specifically talking about Cleopatra and Mark Antony and how they end up even on this crime spree, on the run, how the Roman Empire stormed the city when she had this half-complete mausoleum she was held up in, and they coming to get him. But it was too late because bro already decided to self-inflict the wound, right? He didn't put one in his stomach, like what they call it, harikari, like the Japanese or whatever do. He didn't did himself. So he slowly fading to black while she's pounding her chest, crying, screaming, right? He asked for one last shot of wine, some OG stuff, right? Take a shot, toast to her, fade to blackness, and she soon followed, right? This was one of those stories, Romeo and Juliet in real life, right? Where both of the lovers end up out of there. So we got a history in this world, and not just this country, but this world has a history of men and women, love affairs turning deadly. That's the prime example to me. However, when you're dealing with what I talk about on this platform, institutional settings, with the power of the P, what my mama called it, my mother called it that, the power of the P. The power of the P is so powerful that a lot of empires, a lot of organizations, a lot of great men in power and position have been crumbled over the power of the Putanani. Facts. Undisputable facts. You can go through history. You can watch some of your greatest movies that you have ever watched, going back to even Scarface, right? Any movie that you think that's iconic or great, and you look at a lot of them, there's somewhere in their love story, and a lot of them are centered around men and women both having a conflict of interest and power surrounding one woman. Now, in my particular case, down in Jarrett, Virginia, Greensfield Correctional Facility, I got two brothers, Muslim brothers, both sworn under oath and pledge as far as duty to be upright, to be fearless, to be independent of all outside influences, right, that are not directly connected to and guided by God's purpose for them. So when you got individuals like that who take an oath and pledge, it's the same type of intensity that you're supposed to have and dedication that you're supposed to have when people don't understand how somebody can say Allahu Akbar and, right, not defending anything like that, right? Because I think that's wrong to me unless you're really on the path of God, and a lot of times that get misinterpreted, right? However, when you're dealing with somebody who has that type of discipline, that type of commitment to their cause, and it's attached to a religious belief, it can become very, very, very serious, very, very deadly at times. And in these situations, in the Department of Corrections, specifically Michigan Department of Correction, and we are down in Virginia Department of Correction, so you got all these different groups around you already who vying for attention of these same women from different cities, different styles of kicking it to them and whatnot. my thing was, like I've told y'all in previous episodes, out of all that competition, I didn't want to be bothered with none of these chicks for real, for real. Not to mention I was on my little cleansing thing, right? So I'm seeing over the course of these months how all these dudes jockeying for position in these women's lives. They over here, hey, they doing push up the shirt off. What's up, Miss So and So? All right, Miss So and So. All right, baby. Oh, I see that hair. Yeah, you got the eye. I see the eyes. What you got contacts in today? Oh, that's you. Okay, all right. So you got a lot of that going on. And I'm saying all this to say that all this power that men struggle for in women's lives ultimately is decided by who? The woman. She gonna mess with who she gonna mess with. She gonna choose who she gonna choose. And when you got two individuals, both brothers, under an open pledge, under a banner, that open pledge is supposed to be the all that matters. That dedication to what you said, to your vows, is supposed to be all that matters. But this is hard when you're dealing with dudes who doing time. One of my brothers was doing, I think he had a natural, one never coming home. Another brother had about 7 or 8 years to go, maybe 9. Both solid dudes outside of these incidences. And this is why I always say you never know who's going to turn on you and why they're going to turn on you, depending on what their drug of choice is or what their weakness is. And when I say drug, I don't mean necessarily something that you're ingesting. It could be anything that you consume more than in moderation and you become almost addicted to it. So it could be women. It could be having a power, have power over people and have influence over people. People get addicted to that sometimes. And when they lose that, they don't know how to handle it. Both of these dudes, and you see her playing with them, right? 1 and 1, because both of them was in the same unit at one time. They moved one of the brothers to another unit for a work detail. He had a different work detail, so he moved to the whole unit. But she definitely used to be playing with both of them when we saw it. And then when this dude get into this other unit, this will happen. She get a 2 days or so in that unit. So everybody and their mama is saying, all the brothers anyway, the ones who locked in with each other, saying, bro, you know she be bringing doggy, whoop, whoop. And we know she be bringing doggy, whoop, whoop. When I'm saying whoop, whoop, that's like to get to the point. So I don't mean to be too, what you call that, too slang with some of you people who might not understand the lingo. But when I say whoop, 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 that means that she's bringing in this, that, and the other. I'm summing it up with the whoop, 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 if you don't mind. So when she's bringing in this individual, say a phone, say some narcotics, say some contraband, period, that he ain't supposed to have, then she bringing this dude in too. Now, maybe she benefiting financially, but in these situations, who knew? All I know is that one particular day on the yard, we out there, and they didn't have weights, like I say. So when you working out, you dealing with your brothers. So you might have a brother pushing down on your back for resistance, right? And you doing your push-ups. You might have a brother that you trust real good, and he on your back, and you squatting, right? Because you need that resistance, and you tired of it. But usually we climbing up on the hoop poles and doing pull-ups and whatnot, and hanging from them bars and doing all this type of wild stuff, and upside down push-ups and all that mess, right? So we out there getting our workout in. About 8 of us brothers on a Sunday. Remember this, like yesterday, because it was awareness. Like I said, on Sundays is when we usually do our awareness, day after our religious service. Now, we out there getting our workout in, getting our calisthenics and our little aerobics in, jumping jacks, push-ups, whatever you want to, you could think of, we doing some of that to get the time going and to keep ourselves sharp. Here come the brother, legal advisor. He coming like, hey, we need to holler. We need to have a meeting, bro. I'm like, okay, what's up? He like, we need to have a meeting. So me and him and the other couple of brothers, my dude, shout out to my big bro, Harrio. My bro, Harrio, wanted to know what it was about and whatnot. So we sit down and we talking, and it's about these two. We can talk now. It's about these two brothers that don't get along no more, that don't greet each other in their native I see Salah, and that's mandatory. You call that your mandatory. If you're Atlantic, let me get my mandatory out you, bro, or get them brothers my mandatory. That means mandatory. Every time I see a brother, at least daily, once a day, I have to at least greet you in our native tongue of I see Salah, which is bid and peace and grace that comes directly from the throne of God to you. The ultimate compliment, the ultimate well wish for your brother, right? How we figure it. It's the same way it sounds. Assalamu alaikum, or praise the Lord, or God bless you. But in our way, it's just a little more intimate, right? So, or specific to us, rather. Now, the brothers not giving each other a mandatory. They're not greeting each other. They're not speaking to each other at all, period. Not even saying what up, though. Now, if you say, like, what up, though, we can kind of understand. At least you spoke to the brother. You know what I mean? So we ain't gonna trip about you doing necessarily mandatory, but that's part of our code. Now these dudes, not only not talking to each other, not speaking to each other, there's so much tension between them once we figured out what was going on and we see it over this chick that don't neither one of y'all got claims to, that I'm pretty sure she might have a dude at home, and she and here having her way with y'all. So really, when you think you getting down because you in a vulnerable position and you in a position of being an inmate, and you like, dang, I got it going on. She doing that, that. Ain't no telling before, during, or after your time there, if she been doing that, right? If she been getting the bag in, if she done had an inmate in every unit, because you done had some female COs who done got fired and under the allegations in the investigation that they done had multiple intimate partners in one compound, damn near one in each unit. She might be smashing a dude in A, 2 in B, 1 in C, 3 in D. You understand what I'm saying? So, and bringing in stuff for all of them, telling them all to keep it hush. But one thing about once you start trying to tell a dude to keep it hush, and he watching you all the time and seeing who you stopping and talking to more than a few minutes, and he's starting to feel away like, man, what they talking about? Oh, man, he getting close to my bag. Not just that, but if you getting close to them buns, or she already giving up them buns to you, then you already damn near lost the battle if you ain't strong. If you ain't a solid dude, you ain't a soldier. These two bros, we had to talk to them that day, bro. These bros was so tight with each other, so mad and tense. And when we get down to the bottom line of it, the brother said, I had her first. I had her first. The brother knew I had her first. And the bro said, no, it wasn't like that. What it was is she brought both of us some gum one day. And it started about some gum. That's how the transactional relationship between them and that CO started. Brought both of them some gum, like keep it on the hush. And so both of them feeling like, hey, I got dibs on it. Now the proper thing would be to say, hey, bro, let's go on ahead and man, she picking us out of all these dudes. She must see some favor in us. She must see something solid in us that she don't think she's gonna risk her job or her livelihood for this. So let's come together. Let's work together. Let's keep her safe. But let's make sure we secure this bag and then break bread with the nation. That's the right way to do it. Let's make sure we get a nation 10, 15, maybe even 20% so that we can grow, right? And then we also eating. And listen, let me explain something. I know individuals who didn't pay their lawyer fees running that bag up, working through correction officer and staff, right? Some of them got caught over the years, some of them never did, and they'll forever be in brothers' hearts because you got to understand, a lot of them dudes that came home went home and did things for dudes that was still on lock. That's a powerful phenomenon. I mean, even though people don't look at it like that, they look at it wrong. You're in there. You're supposed to be crime and punishment. You're not supposed to have no amenities, no pleasure, no TV, no cable, no color TV, no jogging pants, no nothing. Some believe in hard time, for real, for real. You got people who understand the civilized way to rehabilitate or correct someone is to make them feel as normal as possible. You start making them feel caged and alienated, they're going to come back to society, what? Feeling caged and alienated. It's not going to be easy to turn off that switch. So you have to transition them people from doing time, including myself, from doing all this time back into everyday life with all the choices in the world. All the decisions are up to you. Ain't nobody calling child time, count time, cut the lights off, go to bed. When they doing that for you all day, you get like a pet. You get trained like a dog. Real talk. You in there thinking you just being your own person, but you know almost internally, from an internal clock standpoint, about what time it is. Oh, they about to go to the yard in a minute. Beep. They about to call child in about 15 seconds. Beep. You feel what I'm saying? Child time. Clear the unit. You can almost know it instinctively. So my whole point is, what I'm saying is, when you're going through all this indoctrination on one level, right, and you got all these odds against you on all the other levels, your job is to stand solid amongst those who with you. This was a disappointing day in the history of brothers because we had to put both of them brothers on sanctions, take both of their badge, right, put them on non-communication status with this CO. Now, they could have said, hell with all that. I ain't doing none of that. I'm a man. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. They could have said that. But then again, when you're part of an organization, you got to stand in with the organization. When you get that blemish on you of not being a part of that no more, They no longer see your badge. They no longer see you around your brothers. Not only is that very embarrassing, that's very disgraceful, but it also leaves you vulnerable to the wolves. When I'm telling a lot of you individuals these stories who've never been there, or some of y'all who may even have been there and never been through this type of stuff, and y'all still throwing rocks at the penitentiary, or you throwing rocks in general, you get in these situations, you think somebody your mans, y'all start getting the same type of love or the same type of attention, even from the dudes in prison, even from other inmates. They start greeting you more, saluting you more. Go back to the story when I was telling y'all about my cousin tried to have a homie knock me off. That's a true story about my cousin who had to get me lined up by the homie because the homies up under me, my sister baby daddy, and my man Stubbs, shout out to my man Stubbos, didn't greet him or salute him well enough, or didn't, pat him on the back enough. And he talking about, man, yeah, Stubbs and G and my man Dark about to have your spot robbed. Rest in peace, my man Ern. He told my man Ernest this. All because of jealousy. Because he felt like I was getting more attention as a big homie type than he was. So when you got all these dudes who got these ego issues and they ain't get hugged enough at home, bro, and you get in there, or sis, and you get in there and you doing time around these people, and you swear they rocking with you, man, them people will put a whole blade in your back. God forbid any of y'all had to go through that. God forbid any of y'all had to walk down these paths that I have walked over the course of 3 prison terms, 10 years in and out of incarceration, as well as 6 or however many years on and off parole, in all type of rehab programs for dropping dirty marijuana samples, doing parole. All that stuff add up, and it's taxing, and you don't look at it when you like that, when you young and dumb, or you just one of them type of individual who feel like, man, I got this. This ain't nothing. Until you start looking back in retrospect and figuring out, I missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of holidays. I missed a lot of family time. My mother's getting older now, and I'm looking at all the time I lost with her. You understand what I'm saying? Homies that died while I was away. Family members that died while I was away. So think about all that when y'all out here running around Blakey gang and busting your Draco and flying people ramen and all that. Listen, all that sound good on the mixtape, and it's good for entertainment. But in real life, when they close them doors and they cut them lights out, and it's just you, and all you can hear is your echo, if you, that boy echo through that cell, huh? You pass gas, it echo through that lonely cell. But even if you're in an open setting, when you lay down at night, it's just you, homie. You and your dreams, if you ever have any. So think about that when I'm telling you all these stories, man. You had 2 great individuals who was beefed out, and possibly about to hurt each other, who took over players to save each other's life if need be, or sacrifice your life for this brother if need be, and the cause for the people. And y'all in there beefing over the Putin nanny. Disgraceful, crazy, and weird. And I ain't never had that type of feeling towards none of my brothers, man. Not to talk y'all to death, but think about these things I'm telling y'all, man. If y'all haven't subscribed so far, please subscribe. Send your nephews, your little homies, your brothers, your uncles, your daddies, whoever, and come. We can have a conversation. Because I don't want to see none of y'all brothers locked up, man. Even if I don't know y'all. It's the worst thing you can go through, psychologically and emotionally. So, if y'all can stay out here, man. Y'all need to holler at somebody, hit me up at O_G_Kenny or at Retired from the Streets TV. That's on Instagram. Or you can go to my Facebook group, Retired from the Streets TV. Or Retired from the Streets, rather, on Facebook. And holler at your boy. Join the group, get in the comments. They say, man, I saw you on YouTube, man. Let's talk. Simple. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Keep the change. Keep them nervous. And as always, I love y'all. I'm out. Ha!